Hello, greetings to you. You're welcome to our channel today, Touch Billion TV. Today is the 8th of August 2025, and we're going to be looking at the gold chart, XAU Now, yesterday, we actually pointed out very key levels where we feel that the market is actually going to react from. And one of those key levels was actually this point here. Here, we said that the market was going to react from this point here, which it did, right? It reacted, came down, right? But most importantly, it came down to this zone. You can see this arrow here from here like this to all the way to the top. So it came down to this zone, reacted, came a little bit down here, and went all the way up, which was actually a very good point of entry and making good profits. So you can see that there, that was something incredible. That was something very, very incredible. And that's, was that. So let me take out this point here. Let me take out this point here because that has already been invalidated. And we're just going to be looking at possibilities for the market for today. So already, first of all, we can see very clearly that the market is on an uptrend, right? We can see very clearly that the market is currently on an uptrend here, right? It's very clear that the market is currently on an uptrend, and that's something very, very unique, right? So for most of our students, you understand what it means for a market to be on an uptrend or to actually be on a trend, right? Whether a downtrend or an uptrend, you know what to look out for, right? So you look out for buys when it's on an uptrend, and look out for sell when it's currently on a downtrend, right? So now that is something unique that we really need to be able to pay massive attention to. Now, moving forward, what we need to be able to look out for today is also the idea around the fact that what do we think or feel that this market is actually going to do today, right? What do we think or feel? What do we think or feel that this market is actually going to do today? So now, one thing is very much unique here, right? Now, we can see very fully well here that the market has actually created various structures in terms of the journey of this uptrend. There was a break of structure at this point here. Here, there was a break of structure at this point here. There were also various break of structures coming up from the market, but then let's just look at the very closer ones here. There was also a break of structure at this point here, right? But then we can't really tell if this uptrend is being maintained because we're still looking forward for a break of structure at this zone, right? Yes, this market reacted from this line. Let's go to the 4 hours time frame, for example. This market reacted from this zone. See this line that we actually brought out yesterday, which was a very key level zone. The market reacted here, right? So let's take out this point here. Let's take it out. Let's take it out. Good. Let's take this out. Okay. So let's go back to the 1 hour time frame here. We can see very clearly. So this is the previous high that we're expecting this market to actually come and react from, and should I say break actually, right? To really confirm to us that this market is really continuing its uptrend movement, right? To really show that this market is really continuing this uptrend movement. And also, this is a previous low that this market breaks. If it breaks this low, we can also confirm very well that, okay, this market is probably trying to change character or thereabouts. You understand? So these are key levels that we really need to pay attention to. But then we had an entry at this point, right? We had an entry at this point here. We had an entry at this point here that the market came very close to, but really did not trigger that entry, right? It really did not trigger this entry. And there's a tendency of this market still coming all the way down to this point here, like from here like this, coming all the way down to this point here and going all the way up, right? There's a tendency for this, right? For this particular point of or this zone, right, for this market. But then there's something very unique about this. Now, since this market came very close to this point, there's a tendency to break here. So possible zone that we can actually look out for is actually this zone. Possible zone that we can actually look out for is actually this other zone, right? So this other zone. So if this particular point actually really did not fly, right? So the next point that we're looking at for can be something like this, breaking this point and going all the way up, right? That point acting as a very strong point of what? Resistance. Support, sorry. A very strong point of support, right? So, but then if this market breaks this point, then we are still having these zones that we have here to be very, very what? Valid. We can see these zones we have below here. These zones we have below here to be very, very what? Valid. These are zones. This is the first point of entry, second point of entry, third point of entry. Now, when trading Forex, you can have the opportunity or the privilege to actually open various parameters, right? You can have the opportunity to actually open various parameters, and that's one unique thing about the Forex market. That's one unique thing about the Forex market, whereby you can actually get to open various parameters, and it's very, very interesting, to be able to do that, when you have or when you're trading the Forex market. It's a privilege for you to be able to do that, right? So once you have that understanding of that, we can be able to say, okay, this is what is possible in the market. But then, most importantly, if this market now breaks this zone, let me just take out this, or let me shift this a little bit. Hold on. I'm trying to shift this, right? Okay. So I'll just take it out, right? So we'll still look at those zones. So if this market breaks this point, if this market breaks this point here, right here, if this market breaks this point here, right, then we're very sure that this market is coming to this zone that we've been waiting for all this while, following the trend that it's on currently. So if it breaks this zone here, right, if it breaks this point here, this high, so we can actually see the market coming out all the way to this very top, right, and we can look at this here, right? We can look at this here. So something like this, right? We can look at that, something like this. So these are possibilities that we can actually be looking out for in the market, right? These are possibilities that we can actually be looking out for in the market. So this is the whole idea around gold for today. We're currently on an uptrend, and we're actually looking at possible buys, right, in the market. But at the same time, the market can change massive character. It's very possible the market can do that, right? Market can change massive character. It's very possible. You understand? So these are two possible buy and sell zones that we're actually strongly looking at on the market and what is possible. So if you got value, please do well to subscribe to the channel, like, comment. You can leave a comment in terms of contribution or questions. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification, so whenever we post videos like this, you will be updated and all that. Thank you very much.